Okay, to continue on to part two, I was saying don't leave the questions who, what, where, when, why, and how. Don't leave those questions unanswered. And the more that you get at doing that with little situations, the easier it comes to big situations. I mean, I can't tell you what situation is going to be big or little to you. It's a individual determining, for you to determine that. But um, basically, my main point is that you cannot be a lazy thinker. And that is one thing that I have noticed, that there are some black men out there, and especially some of the ones that are around my age, would much rather not try and sit down and answer these questions within their mind, or ask these questions of people that are involved in the situation with them, um, which that comprehension does coincide with using your skepticism. Now, you're going to have to use your skepticism to answer the why. You got to use skepticism to answer the why part. And the why part is going to be the real determining factor in if you're comprehending the situation or not. And it's going to be the big part. If you don't get to answer the when or the where, the what and the why are the two most important parts. The what, you know what's going on, and the why, you know why it's going on. And if you know why it's going on, that leads to you being able to have, again, that is going to be a part of your mental power. You're going to have that comprehension of the situation so that you can learn from it, number one. And you can take from it, once you learn it, you can take from it and apply that knowledge. Again, like I was saying, you have to be somewhat skeptical to answer the question of why. I'm going to give an example here. Say you're in a situation with your girlfriend or your wife, and she suddenly went on a shopping spree and just spent way too much. Now, I'm not talking about gold diggers, okay? I'm talking about you're in a nice, stable, long-term relationship. Things seem to be going okay. She hasn't given you any signs that she's just trying to spend all your money up. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that she went on a shopping spree. It was pretty sudden. She didn't tell you about it, and she ended up spending way too much. Now, to me, or at least I believe for the most part, that many men out there, many black men will not be interested in answering the why part in a situation like I just named off. Now, if she's a gold digger, then you're going to know why. That's not what I'm talking about. Again, I'm talking about a nice, stable, long-term relationship. And even with that situation, a lot of guys are not going to want to answer the why part or find out the why part. Most of the time they'll be mad and won't listen. So therefore, you're not beginning the process of figuring out why, so that you can have your power on helping to avoid these situations again. Again, you take the time out to answer the who, what, where, when, how, why, and it helps you to gain the full comprehension of the situation. So if you're using your skepticism by taking your common sense and knowing that if she's like most women where maybe she's not too keen on having a pattern of thinking to immediately correct her behaviors. And more than likely, you probably won't be dealing with a woman like that because, sometimes it takes going through therapy or whatnot to get that down. But not saying she's like a horrible person or whatnot, but usually will not see if what they're doing is wrong. immediately. Um, so you more than likely won't get the right answer as to why. So you'll know this by being very observant of her over time. So you use your skepticism while being calm and objective about the situation. Then you resolve it immediately by, you resolve the financial barrier by having her return some items immediately. And now only a man with a commanding presence will be able to keep order in this situation. And I hate to say it, but that would basically be your job as the man who is born with the testosterone to keep you logical through a situation. So, of course, you're going to get angry. But if you just need to walk away and think things through, then that's what you have to do. So hopefully then you start, this is just my little perfect scenario, and I know it doesn't always work out like this, but then you guys start to, calm down and talk in a collective manner where you start trying to get the why this situation happened answered. And believe you me, the situation can never be resolved completely without the why part being answered. And you as the man, as the commanding voice in this situation, can get that out of your woman. You can do that if you develop those skills. So then that way, you see how that coincides with you keeping order within your household? You guys aren't going into debt, and then you're looking up other resources. If she needs extra help, then you're looking into that. So number 3 is to develop coping skills, which could take a lifetime for some because due to abuse or neglect during childhood, these can kind of set you back. And not saying that you're any less of a person, but this is for men and women. The reality needs to be faced that abuse, which is something that is completely not your fault, can set you back in your life if you don't address it. So the longer you don't address it, the longer it's going to take for you to develop the right coping skills, which is a part of you getting your mental power back. But anyway, so you have to understand that there's a lot of things out there in this world that we cannot change. We can't change bad weather if the company is shutting down. The relationship's not going to work out because, maybe the other person feels like they don't need to work on their part in the relationship. So when you understand that with a commanding presence, you understand that you still cannot change other people unless they want to change. So this is the first step with starting to develop the coping skills, because then all of us have to learn ways to do it, and rather through self-talk, meditation, occasional therapy session here or there, it's better that sometimes we have to learn them through therapy or counseling. But you just have to be humble enough to mentally know that it's going to take a while and your coping styles might have to vary for different situations. So you have to be humble. That's it. You just have to be humble. You can't let your pride stop you from learning, because you will stop growing and you will sabotage your relationships, period. You cannot allow yourself to not learn from as many different sources out here that are in the world. Our relationships with our co-workers, our bosses, our spouses, our families. A lot of TV sometimes. But you have to be humble, and that will get you that commanding presence that you will have to be able to keep order commanding presence.